Hare Krishna Mataji, can we get started?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. I would like to thank my Siksha Gurus and the temple authorities for giving this opportunity. So first we'll do Mangalacharan Prayers and then we can get started. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Matsamo nasti papatma naparadi cha kaschana parihare pilajjame kimbruve purushottama yuvatinam yatha yuni yunam cha yuvatau yatha mano bhiramate tadvan mano me ramatam tvai bhumao skalitapadanam bhumireva avalambanam tvai jata paradanam tvameva sharanam prabho Govinda Vallabhe Radhe Prarthe Tvamaham Sada Tvadiyam Iti Janatu Govindo Mam Tvaya Saha Radhe Vrindavanadishe Karunamrita Vahini Kripaya Nijapadabja Dasyam Mahyam Pradiyataam Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Manina Manadena Kirtaniya Sada Harihi Katanchana smrite yasmin duskaram sukaram bhavet vismrite viparitam syat Sri Chaitanyam namamitam samsara dukkha jaladau pratitasya kama krodadinakramakare kavali kritasya durvasana nigaditasya nirashrayasya Chaitanya chandra mama dehi padavalambam Chaitanya chandra mama dehi padavalambam. Hare Krishna. I welcome everybody to the ISV's Wednesday class. First of all, I would like to thank the temple authorities and my Siksha Gurus and Guru Maharaj for giving this opportunity. I also take permission and blessings from all the viewers today, all the people who are assembled here as well as online. I take your permission so that I can speak something today. So today we will talk about remembering Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, because Monday we celebrated his appearance day, and so we will discuss some of the pastimes that happened with Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur for our purification. So first we will do a bhajan. And this bhajan, I would like to share my screen if possible. So this bhajan is very important because this is written by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and then it also covers all the parampara, all the Guru parampara. So whatever we see the list of all the acharyas we see in Bhagavad Gita introduction towards the end. The last page of introduction in the Bhagavad Gita, parampara, which is given from Krishna to Brahma to Narada and all that, is actually covered in this song written by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So the name of it is Guru Parampara. So we will first recite this bhajan and then we'll get started. So Mataji, I want to just know if you are able to see my screen.
Yes, Prabhu, we can see the screen.
Thank you. So I have Avanish with me who will help play Mridanga today. Krishna hoite chaturmukha hoya Krishna sevanmukha Brahma hoite narade ramati Narada hoite vyasa madhvako he vyasa dasa purna prajna pramana bhagati Narahari madhvabhamse akshobhya paramahamse Shishya boli angikara kore Akshobhyera shishya jaya tirtha name parichaya Aradasye jana sindhu tore Tar hoite dayanidhi tar dasa vidyanidhi Rajendra hoilo tahate Tahara kinkora jaya dharma nama parichaya Parampara jano bhalo mate Jaya dharma dasye kati Sri Purushottama jati Tahate brahmanya tasuri Vyasa tirtha taradasa Lakshmi pati vyasa dasa Tahate madhavendra puri Madhavendra puri bara Shishya bara Srishvara Nityananda Shri Advaita Vibhu Ishvara puri ke danya korile Sri Chaitanya Jagadguru Gaura Mahaprabhu Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya Radha Krishna nahe anya Rupano bhajane rajivana Vishwambhara Priyankara Shri Swarupa Damodara Shri Goswami Rupa Sanatana Rupa Priya Mahajana Jiva Raghunataya Para Priya Kavi Krishna Dasa Krishna Dasa Priya Bhara Narottama Seva Para Jarapada Vishwanatha Asha Vishwanatha Bhakta Sata Baladeva Jagannatha Tara Priya Shri Bhakti Vinoda Mahabhagavata Bara Shri Gaura Kishora Bara Hari Bhajanite Janamoda Vihara Paramhasara Gaurangera Nijabamsa Adera Karane Mama Gati Ami Seba Udasina Namete Dandi Nama Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Sri Vashana Bhavi Bhara Sada Sevya Seva Para Taharada Ita Dasanama Tara Pradhan Prachara Koshi Bhakti Vedanta Namo Pratita Janita Doyadhama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Avnish. So here, this particular poem is actually written by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur himself, and it discusses all the Guru Parampara. So basically, starting from Lord Sri Krishna, then he is giving the Parampara to Brahma, and Brahma to Narada Muni to Vyasadeva, and coming along, Purna Prajna Tirtha, and then Padmanabha Tirtha, and Madhvacharya, Narahari Tirtha, Jaya Tirtha, Akshobhya Tirtha, and again coming in that lineage, Rajendra Tirtha, Jaya Dharma, and then Vyasa Tirtha, Madhavendra Puri, then Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Acharya, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taking initiation from Ishvara Puri. And then later on, the parampara again still continues to Rupa Goswami, Swarup Damodar Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami, to Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, Loknath Das Goswami, Gadadhar Pandit, Narottam Das Thakur, and Chakravarti Thakur. And so the lineage continues to Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and then A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. So this is a very wonderful bhajan, which depicts our parampara. Okay. So as celebrating this week is very, very auspicious, to talk about the activities of great souls and great acharyas is also a very, very auspicious activity for us. And then this Monday is very auspicious for us to celebrate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's appearance day. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was born in the year 1874 in Jagannath Puri. And when he was born, he has his umbilical cord, which is wrapped around him like a Brahmana thread, decorating his body, which represents that this is he is a twice born. So Brahmana thread actually represents a twice born person. So it's very auspicious, and it is very rare that this kind of incident happens. So that happened with Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And then when he was born, astrologers predicted that this child, he is not an ordinary human being. He is actually a Mahapurusha, endowed with all highest excellence of spiritual characteristics, and he will be the person who will preach the highest truth to all the humanity. So that was the prediction of all the astrologers. And then slowly, when he was a baby, at that time there was in the Puri Dham, there is Ratha Yatra that is going on. So when the Ratha Yatra is going on, usually sometimes the Ratha stops, and then all the devotees, they pull the chariot. The representation of pulling the chariot is to take Krishna in the form of gopis. When gopis saw Krishna in Kurukshetra, they were looking at him in a different dress, and they all were accustomed. The gopis were accustomed to seeing Krishna as a cowherd boy in Vrindavan Dham. But here in the Kurukshetra, he is completely decorated differently. He's having a lot of luxurious dress, and he's having a helmet, and he's dressed in an armor, getting into the battlefield. So looking at all that, they were, whatever the little piece of cloth that they have, they were tying to his chariot, and they're pulling him, please come back to Vrindavan. So this is the same mode that Ratha Yatra is performed. So Sri Kshetra Dham, which is the Puri Dham, current day Puri Dham, is the representation of Dwaraka. And then during Ratha Yatra, we pull the chariot from Sri Kshetra to Gundicha. So Gundicha is a representation of Vrindavan Dham. So in that mode, devotees are actually pulling, they're assisting Krishna, please come back to Vrindavan, Gundicha. So that is celebrated every year in the month of May and June. So in that mode, when the Ratha Yatra is happening, the Lord sometimes stops the cart and then it wouldn't move. So people pull it, they pull with elephants. And it happened when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there. And at some point, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has to go behind the cart, and then with his head, he has to, push the cart forward. So it happens. It happened many times. And so this Ratha Yatra actually stopped exactly right in front of the house of this little boy who's born, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So when this is happening, the wife of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur's son is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And then Bhakti Vinod Thakur prayed that in order to spread this mission, O Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, O Krishna, please send some ray of Vishnu, who is an empowered soul who can take this message all over the world. So that is the request that is prayed by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And then when this Ratha, the cart has stopped right in front of their house, the wife of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Sri Yukta Bhagavati Devi, she took the little baby boy in her arms, and then she went for the darshan of this cart. So she goes, and with the permission of the Pandavas, she gets into the cart, and this little baby, he crawls, he goes, and then first he touches the lotus feet of Jagannath, takes the dust of Jagannath on his head from his lotus feet. And when that is happening, there is a garland which is decorated in the Jagannath. That garland fell in around the neck of this little boy. So then everybody was saying, Haribol, Haribol, this is so auspicious. The Jagannath's garland falling as a maha around somebody's neck is very, very auspicious. And at that time, Bhakti Vinod Thakur confirmed that his prayers are answered, and he was the boy that he's asking from Vishnu to come as a ray of Vishnu to spread this information about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, around the world. So he was very, very, very happy that his prayers are answered. Then this little boy is named as Bimala Prasad. So this is also a very special name. Vimala Devi is actually the pleasure potency of the Lord. So every time in the Jagannath temple, bhoga is offered, all that bhoga is again first offered to Vimala Devi before it is being distributed to all the devotees. And there is a special pastime behind this. So once, Hare Krishna, Ashraya Madhav Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. So this, the pastime goes like this. So once Narada Muni, he goes and asks, I want Mahaprasad of Vishnu. So once he approaches Lakshmi Devi and he says that, please, I want to get some Mahaprasad of Narayana, Lord Vishnu. And then Lakshmi Devi says that, oh, no, it's very, very auspicious. I cannot give you the Mahaprasad just like that. So he continuously requests. After several requests, one day, Lakshmi Devi herself calls Narada Muni and says, okay, today I'm going to give you the Mahaprasad. So he gets the Mahaprasad of the Lord, and then Narada Muni honors the Mahaprasadam, and then he's completely dancing in ecstasy. Usually he's very happy. He's traveling all over the three worlds, all over the universes, glorifying Krishna and doing his Hare Krishna Mahamantra on his Veena. But this time, after honoring that Mahaprasadam, he was kind of jumping in the air, leaping out, and he's calling out, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. He was so jubilant, so happy. And seeing his dance, Lord Shiva is so interested. He felt very captivated. And he says, oh, Narada, you're so happy. You're unusually happy today. What is the matter? What happened? And then Narada Muni says, oh, today I got the Mahaprasad of Lord Vishnu. Lakshmi Devi herself gave this, and I honored it. That's why I'm so happy. I'm dancing. And then Narada Muni, immediately Lord Shiva becomes very grave, and he says, what? You got the Mahaprasad of Vishnu and you did not share it with me? You just had all of it yourself? And then Narada Muni was thinking, oh, yeah, I did not share. And at the time, immediately Shiva will come and look at all his hand and all the fingers and everything. And there is little bit of Mahaprasad stuck in the nails of Narada Muni. So he takes that, Lord Shiva, and then he honors it. And as soon as he honors the Mahaprasad, he is jumping in the air. He is dancing. And then he is dancing. His hair is completely let loose. And then he's dancing as if there is Mahapralaya going on. That devastation is going on. So looking at both of them dancing, Narada is dancing and Lord Shiva is dancing, then Parvati will come. And he says, what is the matter? Both of you are dancing. And this is not the time for inundation or ending the complete destruction of the entire universes. What is the matter? Why are you dancing so much? And then Lord Shiva says, today I got Mahaprasad of Vishnu. That's why I'm dancing. And then Parvati becomes very upset. She says that, how come you got the Mahaprasad? You didn't even share with me. And then everybody, both Narada and Lord Shiva, were looking at each other. And they says, oh yeah, we forgot to give it to you. So at that time, Parvati Devi was upset. And then they praise, and Lord Vishnu appears there. And Parvati, not only for her, she's also asking Mahaprasad for all her children in the material world. So Parvati, then she was given as a residence as Vimala Devi in the temple of Jagannath. So even today, so Lord Vishnu says that I'll be residing in Jagannath Puri, Krishna told. And then whatever the prasad that I get, first it will be sent to Vimala Devi. And after you honors it, it will go out as Mahaprasad to all the devotees. So that way, Parvati is very happy. So that's how she's coming and residing there as Vimala Devi. So that is the name given to this child of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who is later known as Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So his name is Bimala Prasad. So in order to get Jagannath Prasadam, we also need to have the mercy of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was this Bimala Prasad boy who is 3 years old, once his father brings a mango. He brings some mangoes to home so that, they can offer it to the deities. So as soon as this little boy, Bimala Prasad, saw a mango, he eats one of the mangoes. And then the father will come and say, he will slightly say, oh, my dear child, this mango, we should not eat like that. First, we have to offer it to Krishna, and then once Krishna honors it, then after that we have to take it as Mahaprasadam. So we cannot eat anything without offering to Krishna. So this boy is just 3 years old. So at that time he takes a vow that I am such an offender. I did not offer to Krishna. And he takes a vow that for the rest of his life he will not eat a mango. And he did not. So in the later years, if somebody would bring a mango to give him, then he would say that no, I'm not eating a mango because I offended. I'm an offender. So that is his mood, and he took this vow when he was 3 years old. Such a great soul. And so he has such deep love for the Lord at that age, which tells that how determined he was. Then when he was 7 years old, his father was constructing a beautiful bhajana kutir. It is the modern day Bhakti Bhavan in Calcutta. So when they are digging, they found the Kurmadev Vigraha. So the Vigraha of Kurmadev. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives this Kurmadev Vigraha to Bimala Prasad and explains him how to worship properly. So the Kurmadev actually represents a strong spiritual foundation. Because if you see the churning of the ocean, when the demons and the demigods were churning the Mandarachala mountain, and they have this Vasuki as the thread to churn, the mountain is going low because it is slipping down. So in order to have the stability, Krishna came in the form of Kurmadev, and then he stood at the bottom of the ocean, so that on his body, on the top of his body, is this Mandarachala mountain put, and then both the demigods and the demons were doing this kind of a tug of war, churning the entire ocean. So it's a big task. There is another pastime behind it. Actually, Lord Krishna, he has a little bit of itch on his back, and then he wants to have the pleasure of removing that itch. So that is one of the reason he came as Kurmadev. And when this Mandarachala mountain, the huge mountain, put on top of his body on his back, and when the demigods and demons were churning the ocean, it is actually giving a nice massage feeling to the Lord. So that is the another reason behind Kurmadev. So worshipping Kurmadev is brings strong spiritual foundation, and also the stability in devotion. So that is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he gave this Kurmadev Vigraha to this little boy. And then at 7 years old, this boy is so smart. At 7 years old itself, he memorized all the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. Not only he memorized all the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, he would give elaborate commentary on the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. And at that age, he will also defeat any opinion that is averse to the teaching of Bhagavad Gita. So he was such a brilliant student. He is very, very intelligent and very, very learned. He's going to school, but he never read any books pertaining to his school studies, except for he's very much interested in reading his father's books, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's books, and he also has a lot of interest in reading Narottam Das Thakur's books. Although he did not study any of the books, but he always stood topper in his class. He used to get highest grades, and if he hears anything once, and he will never forget. He was such brilliant. He's so magnanimously intelligent and very, very learned. So anything, and another aspect is when he was 7 years, 8 years, 9 and 10 years, whenever Bhaktivinoda Thakur was speaking, he used to listen with rapt attention in wanting to hear from his father. And any great acharya who comes and gives a class, he used to listen to the class in rapt attention. This is also one of the important characteristics of a devotee, right? If we wanted to actually progress in our devotional service, we should have a rapt attention to hearing Krishna Katha. So that was exhibited by this little boy, Bimala Prasad. And he used to give full focus. He's learning everything, and he never forgets anything that he learned. He's so determined, he's so sincere, he's so impressive child. And when he turned 13, at the age of 13, his father Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave him the Tulsi Japamala, which he got from Jagannath Puri. And he also gave him the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this boy used to chant at that age. And then his father also gave him the Narasimha mantra. So at 13 years, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was actually worshipping Kurmadev for spiritual stability. He was worshipping Narasimhadev with the mantras for the protection of all the dangers of this Maya. So Maya is so strong. We need protection from Maya. And so we all needs to have, we also need to pray to Narasimhadev to give us protection. So that is what is being done here by Bimala Prasad. And he used to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to purify his heart for the highest destination. He wants to get the highest goal of love, which is Prema Pumarto Mahan, which is the transcendental love of God. So he was doing these three things at the age 13. And as he grew 16, when he was 16, he was going to school. He was the most brilliant student in the school. Anything that he was studying, especially Bhaktivinoda Thakur's books, he was completely absorbed in studying those books. And at that age of 16, he started an organization called August Assembly. And this is started amongst his friends. And the rules of this organization is they will only talk and discuss about bhakti and spirituality and nothing more, no other topic. And anybody who has to join this particular club, which is the August Assembly, they have to take a lifelong vow of celibacy. So many of his friends were so impressed at that age, and they joined. But actually, this little boy, he is the only boy, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who fulfilled that vow. Remaining of his friends, they did not keep the vows. So then at that age, again, he was so brilliant. So he was given a scholarship in Sanskrit College of Calcutta. And he was a brilliant student. He's considered the greatest of astrologers at that time. He knows astrology in great details. He is perfect in Sanskrit. He has perfection. He made his perfection in philosophy. He is extremely great in mathematics. He was second to none. And then there was a library in this Sanskrit College of Calcutta. There were several books of religion and philosophy. He read all of those books. Not only he read the books, he would completely memorize the books. Now, after memorizing, there are thousands of books in that, hundreds and thousands. And if somebody picks up randomly some book, and then they'll ask page number 155, and then he would tell what is the content of that page, and then what is the shloka, what is the meaning, and everything he would say. So he was that brilliant. At that age, again, he started writing a book called Surya Siddhanta, and he gave commentaries on that. And looking at his academics, looking at his intense intelligence, his superior knowledge, they have awarded him the title Siddhanta Saraswati. So that is how he got the Siddhanta Saraswati title. And while he was still studying in the college, he was given offered a seat in the college as a professor. And then he was studying, and very soon he actually left the college, to surprise everybody, actually. And then later he writes in his autobiography why he left college. He says in his autobiography, he left the college because now a person of his caliber, what will people think? they will think, if he has this high education with honors and everything, people expects too much out of him. He should get married, he should produce children, and he has to accept a post in the society, all these things. But Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is never interested in marriage. He's not interested in any of the material affairs. He wanted to become a brahmachari, and he was a great acharya. And uh, we we should not imitate what he did, and then leave colleges and all that, but we can follow in his footsteps. So he is a great acharya and he could do that, but we cannot imitate such great acharyas. And all his actions, everything that he did, it's only for the pleasure of Krishna, and nothing for the profit or adulation or respect in the society. He would never consider these aspects. Anything that he did, anything that he studied, anything he talked about, anything he wrote, it's all for the pleasure of Krishna. That is one point that we can take. So these are some of the childhood pastimes of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And then now we will enter into his interactions with his guru, his dealings with his guru. So in 1905, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he took a vow that he will chant 1 billion names of Krishna. So 1 billion names of Krishna is 100 crores. So he was chanting 3 lakh names every day. He was following in the footsteps of great Srila Haridas Thakur, and he was chanting 192 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day. Now, if some of us who are doing the 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra chanting, it's a multiple of 12. So you have to do a 12 sets of 16 rounds to get to the 192 rounds. So that will make 12 times 2, 24 hours. So your whole day and whole night is gone. Which means if you have to chant 192 rounds, you will barely have some time to take a quick bath, a quick nap, and a quick morsel of food. And that's it. Pretty much you have to chant all day and all night. And he was continuously doing this for 4 years. He was chanting like that. And at that time, they were given a house at the place of Chandrasekhar Acharya, which is called Vrajapatana. And then they moved near the bank of Ganges, and they lived there for 9 years. They remained there for 9 years. And all these 9 years, he was chanting 192 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day for 9 years. And then he was residing in the Yoga Pita, which is the birthplace of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Navadvip in Mayapur. And he also did the Chaturmasya Vrat. So the Chaturmasya Vrat is very, 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 very difficult. So in that Vrat, basically, a person who is doing that Vrat needs to cook the food. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to cook some rice, dal, and khichdi. And then after cooking, he has to put the cooked food, whatever it is cooked, on the floor. There is no plate. So he has to put it on the floor. And then he has to put his hands on the back. And then he has to bend down and he eat like a cow. So he should not eat with hands. So he has to directly eat with his mouth by bending down, folding his hands back. And then whatever the amount of food he can take, which lasts for one breath. As soon as he breathes, starts eating, and if he breathes, that's it. That is the meal for the day, and no more. He cannot take no more. He can do the for the next day. So he was doing that for 9 years. He was chanting 192 rounds every day, and he was doing this Chaturmasya for 9 years. And in this same vow, he has to actually sleep on the ground. There is no pillow. Between him and the ground, there is no bed sheet. So that is how he used to do. And then we know that in the there is a lot of monsoon season in the land of Mayapur Dham, where there is a lot of rains. And then whenever there is rain, he used to actually, his hut was had a lot of holes, so there is leaking, his hut was leaking, but he used to put an umbrella and then start do his japa all day and all night. So that's how he did this Chaturmasya Vrat for 9 years. And before this, actually, a great devotee moved from Vrindavan Dham. His name is Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. He came to Navadvip. And then he is actually a disciple of Bhagavad Das Babaji, who is a disciple of Jagannath Das Babaji. So this Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, when he came, he was wearing a tiger skin hat. And then that hat is special. And also he has a basket of prasadam, all these articles from Vrindavan Dham. So he has some prasadam and all kind of snack articles. So he came, he saw this little, this boy, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he gifted that hat to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. That hat is actually given to Gaur Kishore Das Babaji from his Guru Maharaj as a gift. And that he gave to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he also gave Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur a tilak stamp, where he can put tilak with the marks of the Lord, and also a piece of rope which has knots so that he can do the japa on that. So he gave these three things. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was very much attached to this Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. He liked him so much. And then Bhakti Vinod Thakur told this boy, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he told, my dear son, you should take initiation from this Babaji, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. So with that inspiration, and he also told, without initiation from a bona fide proper spiritual master, one cannot get any proper spiritual progress. It's impossible. Actually, the connection is imparted to us from Krishna through the process of Diksha from a bona fide Guru. So that's why Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has to get this Diksha, and it is advised by Bhakti Vinod Thakur, his father. So this Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he goes and he requests Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, please, I would like to take initiation from you. But Gaur Kishore Das Babaji was thinking, he is illiterate by material standards. He does not know how to write his own name, and he could hardly read. Whereas this Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, by that age, he was a topmost brilliant student, and he read the entire library and he memorized the whole thing. He's an extremely learned scholar. He's the best in the world at the time. And then with all these education and intelligence, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji is saying that I'm an illiterate and you are such a learned person. How could I possibly give initiation to you? This is his humility. Then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur tells, all this education, all this intelligence is of no use without bhakti for Krishna. And that is what you have it. So I want that from you. That is the reason, I want initiation. So he's begging and he's requesting. So upon requesting like this, then one day Gaur Kishore Das Babaji told him that, okay, let me talk to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When I talk to him next, I'll ask him if I should initiate you or not. And this happened in the 19th century. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ended his pastimes in 16th century, 15th and 16th century. And then, so that means Gaur Kishore Das Babaji is actually talking to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, yes, that's good. And then, so after a few days passed, and one day Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur came very eagerly to his to this place, and he asked Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, Babaji, did you talk to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He said, yes, I talked to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What about, did you ask about my initiation? And he said, oh no, I forgot about that. so he was very, then he again begs him with great humility. He begs him that please talk to him next time when you talk about me, about my initiation. So after a few more days, passing a few more days, then Gaur Kishore Das Babaji again comes, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So and then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur asks him, did you talk to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He said, yes. Did you ask about my initiation? He says, yes, I asked, but he said, I don't have to give you initiation. So as soon as he heard that, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was in tears. He was crying, and he was saying that if Mahavadanyaya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that, then what is the use of my life? He is the person, he is the personification, the God, Lord who appeared to deliver all the fallen souls. And I am a fallen soul here. If he did not give initiation, and if you are not giving initiation, how will I see, how will I get bhakti? How will I attain Krishna? What is the use of my life? What is the use of all this? There is no point in living. And he was completely broken. He's completely shattered hearing that. And he was in front of his guru. He's almost broken in a puddle of tears. So looking at that, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji said, is looking at his humility, he says that, okay, I'll give you initiation. I have seen enough humility in you. So go take bath in the river Saraswati and come back. After that, I'll give you initiation. So immediately, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur goes, he takes a bath and comes back. And that is the day he gets the initiation. And throughout his life, he never gave initiation to anybody else. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, he never gave initiation before and after this. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is the only disciple of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. So after that initiation, one day, basically in this mutt, there is some debates going on about you people who are in this Gaudiya mutt, you are chanting about this Gaura Gayatri. So anybody who's second initiation will know there are two Gayatri mantras given, which are Gaura Gayatri mantra. So they say that this is not authorized, and they were questioning that this is not given in any of the things, and nobody is following. So your following of this Gayatri mantra is not right. This is inappropriate. And you are, of course, Lord Chaitanya is a sage. He's a great saint. They were thinking like that. He's a saint. He's a great personality saint. But how can we say that he's a god? How are you doing Gayatri on his names? So at this time, so this Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he calls for a meeting, and then he brings all these people, and then he quotes several Shastric references, and he explains how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord, and how he is the Yuga Avatara he established from Srimad Bhagavatam, he established from Shvetashvatara Upanishad, taking into account of Atharva Veda and Chaitanya Upanishad. So he quoted all these things and completely convinced all the people there that Lord Chaitanya appeared as Yuga Avatara in this Kali Yuga. And that's how he established that authenticity of chanting this Gaura Gayatri mantra. So that is one of the special things that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj has done. And then later, his guru, he says, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, he says that, dear Bhakti Siddhanta, all the merits, all the austerities and knowledge that you have, all the things that you are able to perform, is on the merits of Srila Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami. And he was very happy. And he is being a guru. Now he's calling his disciple as Prabhu. And he says that you are my Prabhu. So like that, his guru was very, very pleased with the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Later in 1914, so Bhaktivinoda Thakur disappeared from this world at Bhakti Bhavan. And in 1915, Gaurakishore Das Babaji also left. He disappeared. And then Gaurakishore Das Babaji is the embodiment of renunciation, right? We sing Namo Gaurakishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye. He is the personification of renunciation. He was actually living in Kulia Gram in the modern day of Navadvip. And he was so renounced. All these materialistic people used to come and disturb him. Please give us blessings. And all these great sadhus who are like pure devotees, they don't have patience for all these material things, right? If you want anything related to Krishna consciousness, yes, they will be very happy to provide. So he used to, in order to avoid all these materialistic people, he used to go to a latrine and then he used to do his bhajan there in the latrine. He was so absorbed and he was so pure that he doesn't want any of these materialistic people coming and disturbing him. So that is how he chose that place where all the materialistic people would not want to go, never want to go to these places. So he goes to that latrine and then he does the bhajan there. So that is Gaurakishore Das Babaji. He's so renounced. He's the personification of renunciation. And sometimes, he used to just go and then take some mud from the bottom of Ganges, and then he would eat that, and that is his food for the day. So like that, Gaurakishore Das Babaji used to live. So eventually, Gaurakishore Das Babaji left from the planet, and so when he passed away, all these other Babajis were there. And all these other Babajis were coming and then claiming that, okay, we want the body of Gaurakishore Das Babaji. And then they were saying that he is a Babaji and we are also Babajis, so we should get him. Actually, the reason why they want this particular body is wherever they go, take this Gaurakishore Das Babaji. At the time, he was like well-renounced person, and he's a great Acharya, and everybody, he's a great name and everything as a great Babaji. So they were thinking that if I go and put a samadhi of this Gaurakishore Das Babaji in my mutt, I'm going to get a lot of donations. I'm going to get a lot of followers because they will anyway come to visit Gaurakishore Das Babaji's samadhi, and accordingly we get a lot of money. So that is their intention actually. So, but at the time, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said that none of you should get the body of Gaurakishore Das Babaji. If at all anybody, it should be me. I am his only disciple. And he initiated only me, and I am following his principles. None of you are following any of these principles, so you cannot get it. So they were saying that, how can you take this body? You are just a brahmachari and we are Babajis, and Gaurakishore Das Babaji is a Babaji, so we should get it. So then he challenged, in front of everybody, he challenged that any of you who did not, if any of you who did not have a relationship with a woman, did not have sex with a woman for the last 1 year, then you will be eligible to touch this body. He very boldly, he openly challenges in that particular fight that is going on for the body, the claiming the body. And he said, okay, forget 1 year. If any of you here, standing here, all of you Babajis, if at least for 1 month you did not have sex with a woman, you can come and claim this body. Nobody came forward. And then he went again and said, anybody who did not touch a woman for a week. Then you come and take this, claim this body. Nobody moved forward. And he said, even at least 3 days, if some of you did not touch a woman, you can come and claim this body. And then there were police, because there is a lot of commotion going on here. So there were police, and police were asking, do you want us to go and investigate all these Babajis? Then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati gravely told, no, there is no investigation required. I'll take their word. But nobody came forward. So that is the purity of Gaurkishore Das Babaji and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he said that I am the one who should claim this body. And then he took that. And at that time, these Babajis were saying that Gaurkishore Das Babaji's last wish, he said when he was living, that when he dies, his body has to be dragged in all the streets of Navadvip. That was his one of his wish. So we have to fulfill his wish. We have to drag the body all through the Navadvip. Then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur very gravely and very loudly, sternly, he said that there is no need of dragging the Guru Maharaja's body in the streets of Navadvip. It is not required. He is following in the footsteps of Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur, when he passed away, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, from his personally, he held him on his hands and he danced in ecstasy. He was singing Hare Krishna Mahamantra Kirtan, and he danced in the streets holding the body. He is the Supreme Lord. The Guru Maharaja's, my Guru Maharaja's body should also be held by the Lord. He is of that great caliber. He said that he has to be dragged in the streets of Navadvip. He told that is out of his humility. But that does not literally mean that we have to do that. And then he shut all these other Babajis who assembled there. And then he took the body. And then he did the samadhi in that. And then later it is moved into the Mayapur Dham, the current day Mayapur Dham. So one day, a very intelligent person attended a class of Gaurkishore Das Babaji. And then later, he will be known as Kunja Bihari Vidyabhushan. So that person, when he was asking all these questions, Gaurkishore Das Babaji told him that you go and take classes from my disciple. His name is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And then he told that he will be able to answer all your questions. So then this particular intelligent person, he goes, and he was actually, when Gaurkishore Das Babaji told this particular person to go and take classes from his disciple, he said that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is so intelligent. Actually, he is my guru. Here the guru is calling his disciple a guru. Such is the humility of Gaurkishore Das Babaji. So this Kunja Bihari Vidyabhushan, the intelligent person, and then he used to listen to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and fully got convinced that whatever he is talking is true and it is fact-based. It is all scriptural references. Everything is there. And then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur told him, you take leave and join me for some time. So later on, the day he took leave, he immediately goes back and then joins Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And that is the day when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Gaurkishore Das Babaji left his body, and all this commotion and exchange of things going on between all these other Babajis and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And after claiming the body, then this Kunja Bihari Vidyabhushan, he tells Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, now you should leave and then basically preach the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. So when he was talking, and that is also when he was talking like that, it is like he's hearing that in the heart. He heard, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur heard that it is the instruction from his guru. And all through his life, his guru's instruction is also one. He always told, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, you have to preach the absolute truth of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world, and there is no other business for you other than that. So he took that, and then now he wants to do the preaching activity. But if you see, he does not have any money with him. He has no contacts. He has no resources. There is nothing there apart from his own self. So one day he had a vision. Actually, he dreamt. So in this dream, Panchatattva appeared to him. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the beautiful golden form, he appeared in the dream. Nityananda Prabhu, he was so joyful. And then along with Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar Pandit, and Srivas Pandit, all these Panchatattva appeared in front of him in the dream. And all the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were there. They were all singing and dancing Hare Krishna Mahamantra very loudly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare. So they were so jubilant. And then in that same dream, he saw Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He saw Jagannath Das Babaji. He saw Gaurakishore Das Babaji, his guru. And all of them, with one voice, they were saying that, you go and preach. You're not alone. We are with you. We are always with you. Our presence is there with you. Our blessings will be there with you. Our power will be there with you. You go and preach. So with that dream, similarly, if you see Prabhupada, also when he was traveling in Jaladuta, he had three heart attacks, and then he does not know anybody in United States. He has 11 rupees in his pocket. Nobody cares about rupees in the other part of the world. But he had a dream that Lord Krishna, along with all the demigods, were in the boat, and then they were steering the boat. So that is the similar dream that Srila Prabhupada had when he was traveling in Jaladuta. So this Kunja Bihari Vidyabhushan, who was listening to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, later he's called as Bhakti Vilas Tirtha Maharaj. So then before he started preaching, then he decided to take sannyas, so Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. But in order to take sannyas, his guru already left his body, so he's no more on the planet. And then usually if the guru is not there, then if there are some of the other sannyasi god brothers, one can go and approach the sannyasi god brothers and take the sannyas initiation. But he is the only disciple. He does not have any god brothers. So where will he find somebody who can give a sannyas initiation to him? So in the year 1918, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he put a picture of Gaurakishore Das Babaji. And then on the day of Gaura Purnima, according to the rituals and principles of Ramanuja Sampradaya, he took the danda, he took the mantra, he performed the yajna in the presence of his Guru Maharaj's picture. And then on that day, he took all these vows of sannyas. And on that day, he officially became known as Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. And then he began his preaching activities in Calcutta. So moving on, there was one conference. He was there defending the Vaishnavism. So one day, Jagannath Das Babaji, the spiritual master of his father, he came to Navadvip from Vrindavan. And then he was seeing Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur so learned, so brilliant, and so intelligent. He's such a smart personality. He was very, very impressed. And he has so much he's such an incredible professor in Vaishnava philosophy and also this astrology. So then he asked him to make the Vaishnava calendar. So on the order of Jagannath Das Babaji, so Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he made all these festivals he created a calendar of Vaishnava calendar, defining all the festivals, all the previous acharyas' appearance and disappearance times, months, according to Tithi. And whatever the current Vaishnava calendar we are all following in ISKCON is the one which is made by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur on the order of Jagannath Das Babaji. He was such brilliant. And that calendar is still going on. And whenever we see calendar for all these festivals, dates, this is the one which is actually given to us by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur on the order of his Param Guru, Jagannath Das Babaji. So there was this conference which is set up, and then at that time there was in the society there is this rampant thing that these Brahmanas were saying that, oh, we are all Brahmanas because we are born in the Brahmana family, and anybody who is not born in a Brahmana family is actually unfortunate. They have to work themselves to be born in a Brahmana family in order to actually touch Vedas, read Vedas, what to speak of spreading and teaching. So that is their philosophy. So there is that thing is in a big rampant system that is going on. And then so at that time Bhakti Vinod Thakur wants to kind of put an end to this, right? Because he knows that, in the Shastras, in the Varnashrama system, it is said that Chatur Varnam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. It is never based on Janma. It is never based on the birth, right? By Guna and Karma, by the qualities, one is either treated as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, but never out of these just by birth. And then he knew that the Shyamananda Goswami was not a Brahmana, but Rasikananda, he was from a very high class Brahmana family. He took initiation from Shyamananda Goswami. Now, if you see Ganganarayan and Ramakrishna, they are very, very high class. They are from a very high class Brahmana families, but they took initiation from Narottam Das Thakur. And then all these people are in the society, in the whole of India and the world at the time, these Brahmanas, the caste Brahmanas, are saying that, okay, only when you are born in the Brahmana family, you are. And then there is this another class of people called Goswami class. So they have formed some kind of a semen alliance of pujaris from Goswami class. Many of them are actually atheists. And all they have is, they have these deities which are coming from ages. They keep these deities, they treated these deities as a piece of stone. And all they want is, these are popular stones, they are there for a very long number of years. So everybody would come, give some donations, and then they'll make ton of money. That is this Goswami class. And these Brahmanas, they would not teach anybody to give up sin. All their business is, we are the Brahmanas, we are born in a Brahmana family. So if anybody does a sinful activity, please come to us. We will give you some kind of mantras, we will do some kind of yagnas so that your sin will be nullified, right? All they were looking is adoration and respect and taking some money in order to cure. They are not even actually curing the sin, in order to circumvent, right? So that is their business, all these Brahmanas and Goswamis. So seeing all these, Bhakti Vinod Thakur wants to have put an end to all this once for all. So there was a huge conference that is being called, and there all these Brahmanas, Vaishnavas, everybody, all these learned Pandits are going. But at that time, Bhakti Vinod Thakur fell sick. He was very, very sick, and he had very high fever. And then he cannot go. And he was calling out, is there no Vaishnava who can shut these people? Is there no Vaishnava who can go and, shut the caste Brahmanas and these Goswami class people? They are all doing everything wrong. And then whatever they are preaching is completely out of scriptures. It is complete nonsense. So is there any Vaishnava who is available who can go and shut these people? Now, hearing these calls, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur he wrote a paper, and he wrote a paper exactly according to Shastra, what is a Brahmana, what is a Vaishnava, and what is the difference. And quoting all these Shastras and everything, he wrote a paper. When Bhaktivinoda Thakur saw that, he was ecstatic, he was jubilant. He was so happy that, okay, now a person has come to shut all these people in the entire world. He was so happy to see Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's paper. And then he says, now you should go to that conference. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur goes to this Abhidnapur conference. And then there, the conference began, and all these Brahmanas, they spoke for a long time. And then they spoke that the Brahmana is by birth. One who is taken birth in the Brahmana family, he is the one who should do all these rituals. And it is a privilege. And they are talking like this for a long time. And when it's turned for Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur to speak, then he started talking about the glories of Brahmanas. And he spoke like that for 30 minutes of his talk. And all these other Brahmanas, caste Brahmanas, were thinking, oh, very nice. This person is in the opposite side. He came from the Vaishnava side, but actually he's glorifying Brahmanas. He's actually talking about us. He's elevating us. And after the 30 minutes, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati then started actually telling what it means to be a Brahmana. So at that time, listening, they were completely shattered. They were completely shattered because that is the actual definition of Brahmana is now coming. And then he said that anybody who knows the science of Krishna, he is the one he can become a spiritual master. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 7:128, Yare Dekha Tarakaha Krishna Upadesh Amara Agna Guru Haya Tarae Desh. Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Sri Krishna as they are given in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become the spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this world. And then CC Madhya Leela 8:128, Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi Shudra Kena Naya Ye Krishna Tattva Veta Se Guru Haya. Whether you are a sannyasi, Shudra, or a Brahmana, it doesn't matter, regardless of what he is, he can become the spiritual master if he knows the science of Krishna. It does not matter whether you're sannyasi, Brahmana, it doesn't matter. All you need to know is the science of Krishna. Then he spoke, and after talking in that conference, he shut down everybody's arguments. And then there were 3 days of sessions after that talk. In the talk, nobody questioned him because he brought so many Shastric injunctions and he gave so much evidence. Everybody was silent. And then there were some one-on-one sessions and all those group sessions for the next 3 days. And he challenged everybody. Anybody can come with their argument. And then he was talking to them, and he was ripping every piece of information, putting them into powders, all their arguments down with the Shastric injunctions. So then everybody was so happy and so jubilant, and all the Vaishnavas who assembled there, they were so happy, they were jumping, they were happy. And all these ordinary innocent people, they were so happy. And all these caste Brahmanas, slowly, they escaped from that situation, hiding their faces. So now everybody wants to take the dust off the lotus feet of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur at that time. So, but Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur wouldn't give the dust, right? So he doesn't want to. There was police, there were a lot of people there, and then everybody wants the dust, and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur doesn't want to give that. So then immediately by force, people put Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's lotus feet in a bucket of water, and they took the water and sprinkled on everybody's head. So there he is declared to be the greatest defender of Vaishnava principles. And then later on, it's a long pastime here, but I'll cut it short because I also wanted to cover the 8 principle message that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave. So Radha Raman Charan Babaji, he has tens of thousands of disciples, but he used to come and sit in the class of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So, but he was, although he was sitting in their class, he was inventing different mantras. And a lot of men, he used to dress them as women and then like gopis and dancing. So, and then they created one mantra called Nitai Gaura Radhe Sham Hare Krishna Hare Ram. So it is rhythmic, people when they are singing, it is rhythmic, but Bhakti Vinod Thakur and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur felt, no, this is not the right thing to do. So there is other Babajis who would come and teach, they used to teach that Krishna did Rasa Leela, so I am your guru, and I am Krishna's representative. You're all young girls, and you should all do Rasa Leela dance with me. So that is what is going on at the time with other Babajis. So when this thing came up, once these Babajis came to Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and everybody offered obeisances to that person, but Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, being young, he was very, very stern and he was very straightforward. He said he wouldn't talk, he wouldn't look at him, he wouldn't offer obeisances. Then that Babaji tells Bhakti Vinod Thakur and he says, yes, my son hates Sahajiyas. Sahajiyas is like, they take everything very, very silly and simple. So then it's not that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati hates something, it's hating the disease, not actually the person. Because that disease, that kind of a philosophy, what they have is actually degrading. It's completely wrong. It's against the principles of bhakti, and it is the cause of disease. That is the hate. So now we will look. There are 8 instructions that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has given to all of us, all the future generations. And these are the 8 instructions that he gave towards the end of his life. And these are the last instructions that he gave. So the first one he said is, everything is dependent on Krishna. We just surrender to Krishna. That is his first instruction. The second thing is, preach the teachings of Rupa and Raghunath with all your energy and all your resources. So whatever we have, somebody might be having riches, somebody might be having their beauty, somebody have knowledge to speak, somebody can do good business, anything, any resource that you have, whatever you have, it has to be used in Krishna's service. And our ultimate goal is to become the dust at the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. And the third instruction he gave is, you should all work conjointly under the spiritual master with the view to serve the absolute knowledge, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To work conjointly, it is very, very important. And Srila Prabhupada's last instruction in 1977 is also the same. He told that you can show your love for me by how you cooperate together in fulfilling this mission. So this is very key and very striking. And if you see all the disciples of Prabhupada, they cooperate so nicely. That shows their love for their spiritual master. And this is the same instruction is given by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Somehow you should work conjointly under the spiritual master. And the fourth instruction, you should not. Actually, you should somehow, these words are very, very powerful and very important. You should somehow live without quarrel. You should somehow live without quarrel. And how do we do that? By putting Krishna in the center. So this is one thing we all needs to take away, that no matter what is happening, we should somehow live without quarreling. And then the fifth instruction he gave is, do not give up your service in spite of all danger, all criticism, all discomforts. Because they will come. When we think that, okay, I am serving Krishna, everything will be fine, everybody will love me, everybody will be praising me, everything will be comfortable, because I am serving Krishna, I have become a bhakta. If you think like that, you should read Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna. You should read Bhagavatam, the Pandavas, Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj, Gajendra, right? So if you see the Pandavas, they have to go to the forest, and their wife is brought in the assembly by dragging with her hair, and Kauravas tried to strip her naked in the assembly of people. And then if you see Dhruva Maharaj, he went to the forest at the age of 5. We don't know, there may be lions, there may be tigers, there may be all these foxes, jackals, ferocious animals. He never cared for that, but he just left. Prahlad Maharaj, if you see Prahlad Maharaj, he was talking about devotion, devotional service. His father put him into so many dangerous situations. He put him under the feet of elephants. He threw him from high peaks of mountains. He put him under the ocean and put a mountain on top of that. He did everything, right? If you see Gajendra, he is held by the crocodile, piercing his skin and his flesh, everything, his leg. He fought for 1,000 years like that. So by becoming a devotee, we cannot assume that life will be okay, comfortable, everything is fine, everybody will love me and praise me. So fifth instruction. So all these great obstacles and all these great souls going through this are telling us that we have to keep Krishna in the center. Great souls are put through difficulties to show what is actually the greatness is. So do not give up your service in spite of all danger, all criticism, all discomforts. The sixth instruction. Do not be disappointed because things are not going your way. And here he gave some practical example. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to call his disciples, and he says, okay, go and give lectures. And then his disciples would come back and say, dear Guru Maharaj, today only 2 people came to attend the lecture. Today only 3 people came to attend the lecture. Then he would say, that is wonderful. If you are speaking the message of Chaitanya Dev for Krishna's satisfaction, we have to speak for Krishna's satisfaction, not to attract the crowds. If nobody shows up, you should preach to the 4 walls very enthusiastically, very grateful. You should be grateful and you should be empowered. And then the 7th instruction he gave is always hear and chant the names and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whatever may come in our life, never let go of that. Now, what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur means out of this is don't give up chanting the holy names. Whatever failures, whatever disappointments, even success, how much pressure we have in this world, this is what keeps us connected to Krishna. Never give up this hearing and chanting. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ends this phrase of his last instruction with these words of how to always chant the holy names. And this is the crux that we can take. This is his last instruction in his last breath. So he said that you should have the patience and forbearance of a tree and the humbleness of a piece of straw. Trinadapi sunichena taroriva sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. To be humble like a blade of grass. No matter how many times we step on the grass, it will not complain. To be patient and tolerant, forgiving, forbearing, even great obstacles like a tree. The tree will never complain. Even if you cut the branches, it is still giving you fruits and flowers. And then even if you cut like 15 branches of the tree, it will still give you shade with whatever is remaining during the sunlight. Even if you are cutting the tree, while cutting the tree, it is giving shade from the sun. So that is the tolerance of the tree. To honor and appreciate and respect others, but not demand it to ourselves. Amanina manadena. So there is another verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 1380, which says, Naham vipro na cha narapatir napi vaishyo na shudro naham varne na cha grihapatir no vanasto yatirva kintu prodhyan nikila paramananda purnamritabdher gopi bharatu padakamalayor dasa dasa anudasaha. So here in this shloka it is said, I am not a Brahmana, I am not Kshatriya, I am not Vaishya or Shudra. I don't belong to any of these varnas, brahmachari, either householder, vanaprastha, or a sannyasi. I identify myself only as a servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. And he is the ocean of nectar. And he is the cause of universal transcendental bliss. And he is always existing with brilliance. And if you see Srila Prabhupada, before he left his body, he cried. If you see the tape, anybody who sees the tape will be in tears. They will melt. Their heart will melt. In a choked up voice, he's saying, and he's making an appeal. Srila Prabhupada is making an appeal. Please carry out the order of my Guru Maharaj. He's crying and pleading with all of us for the generations, all the devotees to come. Through accepting the matchless gift of bhakti, cooperating together with enthusiasm and with all the resources. That is his first instruction. It's the greatest need of the world to spread the compassion of the eternality of the soul. So when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur met Srila Prabhupada, this is the first thing he said. It's the greatest need of the world to spread the compassion of the eternality of the soul. So with a faltering voice, he's begging us, chant, hear the glories of Krishna to give the happiness to this suffering world. So remembering these great souls, it's a great opportunity for us to understand the glories and the power of our acharyas. It is such a great thing to remember these things. I pray at the lotus feet of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Prabhupada that please give us all the bhakti that is needed if they so desire, to empower us so that we take this mission forward in the mode of the servant of the servant of the servant, to please them, to please gurus, our Guru Varga, and also to cooperate among our circle of devotees for the pleasure of Guru and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So thank you so much for considering this request. So with that, I end this, and if anybody has any questions or comments, we can discuss. Thank you so much. Dandavat Pranam Mataji and Ashraya Madhav Prabhu. So happy to see you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much. It was very, very absorbing. You're an amazing storyteller. So thank you so much for this very wonderful pastimes of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. It was a very nice session, Prabhu. A lot to meditate upon his wonderful qualities and his achievements and what he has given each one of us today. So thank you, feeling very grateful for this wonderful session. Hare Krishna.
All the glories belong to my Siksha Gurus and Guru Maharaj, Mataji. Whatever I heard from them, I repeated. It's an ocean of qualities. I think today we just tried to see a tiny drop of it.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Acyuta Kumar Prabhu. This is Asra Madhav Das.
Dandavat Pranam,
Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. Actually, I've observed this, right? You read Bhagavad Gita, you read Bhagavatam. They inspire you. But when you read the life history of these acharyas, they have, it is nothing to kind of belittle the scriptures, because they represent scriptures. Actually, it inspires you, makes you more humble because of, their life, right? It's much more inspiring, actually, to listen to Srila Prabhupada, to Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur's, life history. They have a much more somber effect on us. And their instructions, because they know that we are in Kali Yuga, so we don't have, the patience to, the brain power to remember so many instructions. They kind of distill it, right? The last 8 instructions, right? Srila Prabhupada just gave one instruction, just, preach,
Yeah.
do you follow the instruction of my spiritual master? Just one
Yes.
instruction, right?
Yes.
So it is so wonderful, actually. They understand us at our level, and then they preach us accordingly. Just one instruction, basically.
Yeah. Excellent observation, Prabhu. And see, Shastra is like an ocean. There are so many shlokas, and then like if somebody is studying, have you seen any devotee, anybody becoming a devotee by just reading the Shastras? I don't think so. They need some devotee. They need help of a guru. And then these gurus, they, in the entire ocean of all these Shastras, they find the essence. They find the essence and then they give it to us. They're actually, giving the whole essence as a cream and then they're giving it to us. So that is one thing. Another thing is they are self-realized. If you see the songs that he wrote, the whole parampara, which is written in the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, is exactly printed as it is in Bhagavad Gita as it is.
Yeah.
By Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada exactly took the essence from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And if you see what a genius he is to kind of read so many books and understand and give us the calendars, Vaishnava calendar and all these things. Yeah, but they are like Gnana Chakshu, right? So very good point, Prabhu.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wonderful, Acyuta Kumar Prabhu. Sorry, I was on YouTube and I wanted to add a point, so I quickly joined here. And I was just Hare Krishna, Dandavata
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna, Dandavata Pranam, Mataji.
Hare Bol, Hare Bol.
Good to see you.
As you rightly pointed out right now, only 5%, there is a devotee called Srinivas Acharya in Coimbatore temple. He says this very point that only 5% of devotional service and the spiritual secrets are in the books. Remaining is in the hearts of the devotees. So who are relishing it. And because it's so deep and so dear to their heart, and not everybody is on the same level to understand, it's only by association with them and by contemplating on them and their qualities, it gets revealed from within. So that's I wanted to add that. And also thank you so much, Prabhu, for selecting this topic, much relevant. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is the personalities whose mood is much relevant, and we are all surviving on his mood and his causeless mercy upon us. So thank you so much for doing this. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for the encouragement and for giving this opportunity. I was thinking, without Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we wouldn't have Srila Prabhupada. Without Prabhupada, we wouldn't have ISKCON. Without ISKCON, we wouldn't be doing this. We wouldn't have Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, nothing. We wouldn't know the parampara. We wouldn't know nothing of this. Although everything is passed down, it is the sacrifice. It is the compassion. It's the love and affection of all these great souls that it came upon to us.
Yeah.
And, the more we know, it feels right. We also, having gotten this, we should do everything that we can to kind of, spread this and give it to others.
Yes, exactly. And also on top of that, I have really so much appreciation for those who give lecture on Wednesdays. It's not an easy thing, not like a room full of audience, but it's such a purificatory service, and people do hear it offline and we do get questions on them. So it's such a dedicated service, and people who do service for service are only able to do that seva. So thank you so much, Prabhu. And also to you, Ashray Mother, Prabhu.
It's a pleasure, Mataji. It's a pleasure. And as in one of these 8 instructions, right? Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur told to his disciples that if you go and if you are giving a class, even if one person shows up, you
Exactly.
should celebrate. You have to be enthusiastic. You have to do this. So we are
Exactly.
doing this as a service. It's not for any other thing. So we are so
Yes.
grateful that we are able.
A nice mood, Prabhu. Thank you, Preeti Vilasini Mataji, for accommodating this every week and transmitting and taking care of this program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. It's my pleasure and my opportunity to serve. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. We are inspired by your dedication. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhye
Acyuta Kumar Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Ki jai.
Acyuta Kumar Prabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki jai.
We'll end